Hello, people of the internet. It's your boy, Skinny Penis, with another very interesting game of or video of World of Warships. Me trying to mumble through my thoughts of two random games in a row. This is becoming awkwardly fun for me to do and prepare, um, because probably deep down I still have the hope that, or I still hope that it improves some of your gameplay. Maybe you can take something from it. Maybe there's a small bit here and there that you can pick up upon. And we're back to more interesting ships after going into one kite cruiser. It being the Hindenburg, which I thought was at least one of the more interesting ones because it shoots more often. It's mostly it. Like Venezia and Goliath really are longer, so Hindenburg is kind of more interesting for me to play. Gotta pew pew a bit more. We're back to Kremlin, a battleship. A battleship that has been limited out of competitive for a year now. Very, very hard limit with Ohio and now Vincent together. So, some people think, and there is a point to it, that Kremlin doesn't really do as well in randoms at all. Personally, I still believe that Kremlin is far superior in terms of carrying random games than most other BBs. There's only a few BBs that really do better overall, because even though you're most likely going to be a punching bag from time to time, or off very often because of your limited range and your... Oh my god, he did what? 14,000 with the Tiny Tims on me. Well, that's pretty cool. Carriers, love it. Yeah, the nature of the ship is low range. Also, like, not the best dispersion on range. I mean, we all know the funny bad dispersion moments of Kreml, Zuyus and stuff, so it's not completely... The guns are super hard hitting though. Great penetration, great arcs, I really like them. It's also one of the only battleships I can really aim with, unless I play like 100 games consecutively with it, because it's just easier to hit people with these guns. And yeah, well, the gameplay of Kreml is definitely different from what we had with the Vincent and the Colombo. There's not really a point for me to kite out in this ship. There is more a point to go in and try to tank with the team or for the team. It's definitely the angle you should go for in terms of how to find game impact. Kreml, Kreml actually suffering from a very high up in the water citadel on paper. The thing is though that the side plating armor is insanely thick and also angled. So even if you're caught flat broadside at long ranges, you're going to end up shattering most of the shells. Very few battleships can citadel Kreml at long ranges. Only the high pen ones like Slava, Repub and Patri are really able to do it consistently. This guy is turning out, so we're going to help with the... Actually, that guy's on permafires, he's gonna die anyways. We're going for a few little hits on the superstructure there. So I'm just making my way to the rock. There's not that many torpedo DDs apart from the Shimmer, who by the way isn't spotted and definitely spawned middle. So he might be torping us from here, and I think it's too early for the torps to arrive, so I'm going to turn out to the right. I can give flat broadside to the Vermor at that range anyway, he's not gonna citadel me really. That doesn't fucking matter. The Minotaur snail here, don't really care. But the Zao was also making a move for the rock, so I had some sort of torpedo protection towards this if there was a Shimmer, so I definitely tried to go there. And I don't fucking know why he's reversing. Yeah, cool, now I'm kinda like trying to kill him on purpose. Trying to do something, you fucking... And dude, I swear to god. These people sometimes. They lost spotting on the flank now because their DD decided to int. And yeah, fuck off bro, whatever. Seriously, just fuck off. I want to do damage. And also because this guy is making me stuck, it's super likely that the minnow snailed this. I'm unspotted though, so the minnow doesn't know I'm coming. And he's not gonna turn out before I get my blonde turrets out. Double sit. At these ranges you have great dispersion. I'm also going for the minnow kill, Even though the Zuyus turn flap broadside, the minnow with the torpedoes is a way bigger threat. I mean, I had 2 broadside targets here, but you can make these turns. Like, the Zuyus wouldn't have one-shot me, even though at this range he definitely is able to get citadels. This guy can't citadel me at 17 km. But I don't know why he blocked me with his Zao, to be honest. I decided to kite out from the rock, by the way, because there is a minnow. And the minnow can snail this corner when I peek it. So I have a problem there if he does. I can't really peek it for free without risking to eat a whole bunch of torpedoes. That's just the reason, because there is like a minnow. Or like if there would be any torp DD deep on one line, I couldn't really peek it. But I wouldn't have turned out if there's a torpedo DD, a heavy one, because that's way more likely for me to get torped out. Now we're just waiting until the Zuyus either gives up on us. Actually, I am loading HE here. As you can see, Russian battleships are pretty well armored, so I can't really turn in yet. Hopefully our gearing hits some torpedoes now. The guy DCP'd. I have HE in the barrels. Don't try to be the turbo AP purist on these heavy AP focused battleships like Kremlin. Just also do mind that you can switch to HE. I'm going to turn in now after this salvo hits. Actually knocked the turret, which is crazy because they're angled towards him. I don't know how he managed that one. Disgusting. I'm not gonna put the DCP out for that, obviously, because I have limited amounts. But here, yeah, he did 4k. I mean, he was already on a mid-section fire, so I couldn't really get another one unless I'm really lucky. But at least I got, like, you kind of get the same damage with HE anyways, and you get the chances of griefing his DCPs further and further if you get the fires. I slowed down a bit to dodge the overshot. Going to try and get more shell hits in here. Well, yeah, regarding the long-range dispersion being kind of mediocre, when Kremlin was released, it had super cracked dispersion on range, like as a normal BB essentially, same thing, and it was super broken because of that, so they had to nerf it, and now it's probably in a very balanced state. As I said, in terms of overall game impact, some BBs are better, but because you're such a specifically, like, you're focused on such a specific gameplay that they made it so good at it, like shoving into people's mouth, tanking a whole bunch, also burst tanking with the DCPs, that I still believe it's one of the top battleships for randoms. In terms of ranking, I would only say that like Vincent and maybe Monty are overall a bit better in randoms. Ohio maybe too. I personally hate Ohio, but yeah, I know it's pretty fucking strong. They're not as limited in terms of range and guns. But you can see I citadeled the Iowa twice, once at 15 km, once at max range now. Like, your guns do have the penetration for this shit, and the dispersion isn't completely troll. Like, you don't have you don't have fucking shotgun dispersion that often. You can definitely nuke people at range. Look, I mean, the dispersion isn't bad. No? If I would aim correctly now, I could definitely kill him here, but I misled behind him. Do I get a sit here? 3 pens though. You get good salvos, it's not that bad. Sadly, because we took the decision to surprise the Minotaur, since we caught him, or like he got kind of caught, spotted, flap broadside to us, we took the decision to turn out from the rock as fast as possible to get the Minnow out of the game. Sadly, at the same time, the Zuyus decided to turn out and then block our aggressive re-pushing immediately, so we had to wait until he dies, so now we're a bit cut off from the rest of the enemy, and we have to make our way over. Which is unfortunate. Also, in this kind of situation, I don't have Brisk at the moment on Kremlin, so that is kind of annoying me a wee bit. I do still believe, though, given the enemy's HP pools on the battleship, that this game is gonna last for a while longer. They also have C-cap. We are only on 550 points, so we should be careful as to what we're doing. They still have a carrier that we could overcommit into, and if their BBs actually aren't AP purists and load HE for once, we might get focused out fairly quick. I'm going to pre-heal now because I have 4, so I want to have a heal ready when I start to get shot at. The Vermont is thankfully turning back into us, which is kind of weird though, because my entire team is here. I have enough penetration to citadel him at these ranges too. Essentially, apart from like Satsuma or another Kreml, but especially like Satsuma, you have the penetration capability to sit any BB in inside your gun range. It's not a problem. Can definitely sit everything. And look, decent dispersion. I don't know what people have with the, like, what people cope about with the bad dispersion on Kremlin at range. At 18, 19 kilometers it can be wonky, but it also ends up getting a whole lot of good salvos in. And the moment you go below 14, 15 km against the Kremlin, it becomes super toxic. Below 10 km as a 30mm cruiser, you essentially have zero chances of killing it, while it kills you. Complete overmatch, obviously. Yeah, the guy turned in, and the Sejong and the Giryong already have torpedo angles, so we're just like hunting. We're already going for these people, like we're angling deeper in. I could have gone around the right here on the island and get angles that way, because he's going to turn into the Giryong and Sejong most likely. But then I would be too far away from all the rest, so I'm cutting right in. May get less damage on the Vermont overall, but guy slowed down. Okay, interesting. Oops, 3 ricochets. None of these shells got caught by one of his shell catcher platings. It's unfortunate. It's gonna die to the... I mean, look at this angle, he's not even citadeling me. He penetrates my upper belt, yeah, but he's not even citadeling me. The only way he could maybe sit me is under the front cheek. But super hard to aim for. We're going to load HE here. Look at the dispersion even nose in. Like, you get lots of shell hits, knock the gun. Sadly, that was only penetration of modules and over pen damage. I think one penetration was actually like half pen damage. If a German battleship would play like this, like the Vermont, I could 15-20k him at these ranges with my guns. Now that I'm that close, I can... Oh, can I get the kill? Hopefully. Come on, come on. Yeah, I can steal it. GG's. Just load HE, to be honest. Just don't try to be an 8p purist. He DCP'd the torpedoes, so my fires would have killed him anyway. This is a very, very noticeable engagement against SAP cruisers. They never kill you. Like, you're completely unkillable alone by a Venezia or Brindisi or something. Like, these cruisers are so bad against you, it's not even funny. These things don't do anything, really. I mean, I'm even angling up quite a lot so you can hit superstructure, maybe as knows. But yeah, he hit superstructure, which is still kind of unsaturated since I didn't receive a lot of HE focus until now. Oh, and he's actually going dark in the smoke on the border. Pretty sad to see the kind of gameplay the enemy provides us here. Perma-kiting shit. I'm not gonna pop a heal here, by the way. That's something, like, I'm not gonna die. I just use the AR. The game is super over. And I unfortunately didn't get to use my full HP Kreml after we won A. We smashed that side. I sadly didn't get to play mid-game against an enemy team that won the other side. Essentially were allowing me to use my HP and trade for further damage. Midway died, I didn't even get the broadside shot on the Ohio. But we end up being rewarded for going close and getting an opportunity to shoot and essentially death strike the minnow. We ended up with 4 kills, 5 citadels. I mean, damage is super low. Doesn't really matter in that case, though. It was a stomp of a game, and we at least ended up with half decent damage. And maybe the next game is going to be a wee bit better. Ships like Iowa or general BBs that have easy to hit citadels, or what you want to see flat broadside and Kremlin at like 15 km and below, you can smash these pretty fucking hard, consistently. Set penetration is great. That's the spec. It's nearly the same as on Vincent, but on this ship I decided to drop turret traverse. Wait, actually I'm retarded. Give me a second. I have enough elite commander to do this kind of crap. I was dumb. I thought about Uchakov and it having, like, but for some reason I thought that Uchakov has bad turret traverse, but it doesn't. It has fast turret traverse too. So Brisk would have been better. The base turret traverse of Kremlin is like 30 seconds. So even without turret traverse skill, you get 34.5, which is enough. I mean, you have to plan a wee bit further ahead when you go into brawling situations. but it's still fine. What we have here is reload mod. You can't spec anything else. Ledge mod is fucking dog shit and horrendous. It just gives you 6% more reload for losing consumables. I guess you can go to build Kremlin spec in ranked for memes. Fuck, I clicked it. No. The rest is obvious. You go concealment, you go prop mod. I mean, I guess you could go damage control if you're really planning on only sitting on islands, but you're going to be greatly limited in your maneuvering overall if you don't run prop. Like, you're becoming a turbo break. I mean, you can kind of train playing Uchakov without... If you play without prop mod, you can kind of train how to play Uchakov, I guess. Main gun dispersion, obvious. Like, there's nothing really you can spec here that that would change anything. On the captain, it's the same thing. Kremlin is like the perfect ship to go for a tank build, and I'm again playing the improved repair party readiness for potential burst tanking. On Kremlin, you only have 4 heals, and you have a very large base HP pool. You have the kind of the largest base HP pool together with GK on tier 10, so therefore the usefulness of improved repair party readiness is a bit questionable, since it's like percentage based. And it's percentage based, and it's based on your max HP. So the more max HP you have, the more potential damage you have to tank. That's why it's, for example, so great on stuff like Vincent, because the base HP pool is lower by like 25% nearly. So yeah, you proc it faster and you get more value out of it. But you can still use it on Kremlin in burst tank situations. If it's a drawn out game, it's not going to give you that much of an advantage. I guess if you get the Kuznetsov proc in that I have, Kuznetsov obviously perfect captain for Kremlin, Petrol, Moskva, Stalin, but Kremlin for sure. Great captain. Before they nerfed it, it was disgusting on Kremlin. Like, you could get some sort of super heal out when you proc the Kuznetsov and you had a heal of cooldown, so you suddenly healed like around 30k HP back while having a 30-second DCP, which meant that your DCP, your normal one, is also off cooldown most likely. So that was a disgusting combination. Now it's not as bad anymore, but it still exists kind of. Well, yeah, and I don't know why I took turret traverse really, but as you can see with Brisk, your acceleration is even faster, you're generally faster, so you can get into the positions, the fast forward rock positions, nose in a way safer way, since the faster you arrive there and the less opportunity or the less time you give the enemy to shoot you before you reach it, the more disgusting it becomes afterwards for them to dislodge you. There's very few ships that can effectively dislodge you from very safe rocks. Like, daring snails are a bit problematic. Perma gunboat HE farm at very large ranges like Ragnas with AFT, Zorkis, Klebers are a bit problematic. Marceaus. And general like HE spam from base, but that's why you go to the rocks, so you mitigate the angles that you can get farmed from. And at the same time, you also limit, obviously, AP crossfire, but yeah, that's questionable on Kremlin in the first place, because unless there is a Slava at 18 kilometers in the middle, I'm not going to eat citadels randomly from these battleships. I mean, I guess Satsuma and Hanover have pretty high pen. These don't citadel me at long ranges. They citadel me a bit further out, but also at 20 km he's not gonna get a sit. We're running into a Schroeder who is going to have a very disgusting time against us. This ship just, like, Schroeder doesn't deal with Kremlin at all. I'm essentially just hard countering him straight up. He has dogshit guns, his secondaries don't do damage to me even if he gets them, and if he wants to go into secondary range, well, so be it. I'm going to get so many shell hits on him that I probably kill him super fast. We're going to this rock for now, but I'm most likely going to move to the further forward rock. The Bourgogne going into kite with HE may become a problem here. May, because of his constant annoying HE spam that like sucks out my DCPs over time and also heals. The Duncan shouldn't be that big of an issue, since I can overmatch his nose if he tries to go close. Also, I have an Hanover here. We're completely blocking this for enemies to push. Orc isn't shooting HE for now. There's no real torpedo threat. That's why I'm I'm positioned in this way, a bit away from the island, to have like potentially better options to go out without trying flat broadside or something. But if there would be a daring here or a shimmer or something, I would definitely camp a bit harder. be way more careful. As you can see, 15 km and below, the dispersion becomes better and better. It's the formula of Kremlin. I'm ending up getting 3 overpens. For now, I'm just chilling. My Ragnar is behind me. My Hanover is pretty safe too. The Borg hasn't decided to switch to HE yet. Satsuma, Hanover and Monty are completely off to the other side, so there's no crossfire, so I can most likely move up to the next rock. The question is just, do I have better odds to shoot something from there, or is the island going to block me? Or is it better to just stay here? Because if I'm too close to this, I can't lob it anymore. And for now, it's kind of fine what we're doing here. This guy may show me ballet. Okay, that's tragic dispersion. I think that may actually be no lock on. Yeah, could be coping here, but I thought that that could have been no lock on garbage. With battleships in the current meta, you obviously like especially long reload BBs, you can suffer from a lot of the aim bugs, meaning your reload is completely cucking you. Just because you get that one opportunity, the game decides to fuck it with bugs, and then you have to sit there and wait for ages. This guy is looking for a gamer turn here. I'm going to accelerate again. This thing has an easier to hit citadel than Vincent, so he could definitely be punished here. Yep, there you go, double sit. 11 km. It just becomes too risky to do these kind of maneuvers in front of a Kremlin at these ranges. I mean, he can do it and try it at 18 km. We end up getting overpens again though. I mean, Duncan's still trolly, but definitely easier to hit Sid. I can push up here now. The Schroeder isn't a threat at all. The Alaska isn't a crossfire threat at all. The Borg is super deep in base. The Nustra is in base, and the main part is the regular Torps have 0 alpha, so I'm super safe against that too. This guy's showing me belly in his Alaska and turning in. Wee, that could be a wee bit of a mistake there, Alaska. Hopefully we're getting like 1 or 2 sits. Oh, we're getting 2 sits again. Belly. That's a belly shot. Doesn't matter what kind of ship it is, or especially cruisers or large citadel battleships. If they show you belly, it's just super easy to get them out of the game with a double or triple sit immediately. I mean, I can just re-push into the Schroeder at some point. He's not going to live that against me. Our Ragnar should try and go for the Regolo. Sadly, I can't support him for now. What I can do, though, is turn my guns to the right and then turn left, because the Borg and the Duncan are going there. Kill the Schroeder while I'm literally in his mouth, because he doesn't have torpedoes, he doesn't have the penetration to citadel me at these ranges. I mean, I have to be a wee bit careful that the Alaska isn't here yet. Spotted. Oh. I think I go for ass. That was dumb. He has pretty high side plating, so it's not that easy to find overcoming. Don't think he can citadel me here, so I'm actually just gonna try and game on him. To DCP. I'm just shoving his face now. I don't think he... Wait, the thing doesn't get icebreaker if I remember from yesterday. Like 2 days ago when I played it and looked at it. So I can maybe one-shot him here. Oh, I got 9 out of 9 pens. Actually, I made the no saturate so fast that it only did 23k damage. But he can't citadel me like this. This is just impossible for him. His penetration is way too little. Secondaries don't do damage. He doesn't have to... Look, he's shattering on my main armor belt at that range. Even though he has 305s. Just shows how bad Schroeder is, to be honest, and how demented Kremlin can be in some situations. Wow, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, I have secondaries though that do like 2,000-3,000, and that's exactly what I needed here. Well, we had to dislodge him at some point anyway. Better sooner than later to get the game going again here on this flank. Get the A cap. Get further kills maybe. While I was killing him, my team took care of the Duncan that I citadeled earlier. The Alaska, as you could see, doesn't have much HP either, because citadel damage not that healable. You could have done that move against essentially every cruiser that doesn't have torpedoes, or lots of torpedoes, and no icebreaker. I mean, even with icebreaker, but like also doesn't have the penetration to citadel you. Like against the Stalin, I wouldn't have done that. Against the Moscow, maybe I would have. Definitely something like a Salem or Des Moines, you could have fucked there like that for free. Not really much they can do. Schroeder or tier 8, tier 9 cruisers in general, like tier 9 or 8 cruisers in that position, you can go for it 10 out of 10 days of the week. And yes, I know the week only has 8 days. Joke. Joke. Uh-huh. So yeah. If you get the opportunities like on Land of Fire or Greece to go or spawn on a flank where you can go to an island pretty safely and easily, then do it. Play up close. Even if you don't get the best shots, even if the enemy team kites away, being safe on a forward island limits the enemy team greatly in uh, their ability to maneuver around or push or set up crossfires. That's just the strength of the ship. In general, if there were no carriers, Kremlin would obviously be way better. Kremlin is a ship that suffers from CVs heavily. The moment one HE shell hits your ship, your entire AA is gone for this and the next game, most likely. So, yeah, the moment you receive HE focus and you have a carrier in the game, he's going to just free farm you. Especially things that are good at fucking people on rocks stationary, like Midways, Roosevelts, even like Hack with AP bombers or Richthofen with AP bombers can fuck you hyper. Like, he's always going to slow down when I shoot him. Yeah, he's slowing down and turning out further. The Nustra is somewhere roaming around here. I think they're going to get some kills. Overmatched his ass or nose or side or whatever the fuck. Oh, the Ragnar found the Nustra. That is a very uneven fight. That Nustra is not going to like what the Ragnar has to say. I'm not going to really use my back turret here. I'm just going to use front to not get caught by heavy torpedo volleys, because he most likely took me, maybe Satsuma, but I guess it's me. We're having nearly 3 full HP BBs. I mean, the Nova is pretty low, but unlucky. It's like the last game, we can't really get to them in time, I would say. Depends on if they kill something, but I mean, the Venom is not gonna die there. Ah, okay. My shells are not going to arrive before he burns down. Maybe they are? Another kill steal? Ah, we love it. That is just gaming, man. That's just gaming. Can go flap broadside to the Borg at this range, whatever. I mean, even if he gets 15k, I don't really care. Going to expert load to HE, because the Ragnar is actually is running into the smoke. The Alaska with like 10k HP is re-pushing now, whatever. Don't really give a shit. Probably even good for me in terms of damage, because he's gonna kill the Hanover from very nice broadside angle. I'm spotted. He's out of the smoke. Going to wait until the Ragnar spots him. Look at him. Gonna turn. Can I get the kill here? Yeah, just taking the shot. Wow, I completely missed like a Giga Pupuga. Well, 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 Alaska is dead, Satsuma will die, it's a squad wipe. But now there are still full HP ships I can't get to. That is really unfortunate, to be honest. The Borgon is an AP purist from Kite. Interesting. He could have killed that Hanover 10 years ago. Well, it's go to the island, win the flank with your Kreml, and then watch the enemy team die and never reach them ever again. The shells won't arrive. Unlucky, really. Got a 140, 150 now. Got like 140 last game, 150 now. It's decent. Like, the damage is pretty impactful because it's like Citadel AP damage. I am very close, so if there would be finally a game where the enemy team would play, I could maybe have some nice gamer moments. But as you can see, you see 2 broadsides and you have a very, very useless cruiser. Like, Schroeder is just a disaster. Pretty much hard counter of Doom. Yeah, you just go through the flank, tier 9s randomly put into super ship and tier 10 matchmaking, poor souls. I mean, I'm not feeling for the Benham though. But yeah. That's what I like to do in Kremlin. Nothing more to really say. Just shove it in a half safe position, and then enjoy sitting there forever, and just time your push at the right time. You abuse the great armor. That also doesn't really get citadeled close if it's slightly angled. Just abuse that, and abuse the better dispersion at closer ranges against cruisers, like you saw 9 out of 9 on the Schroeder nose, all penetrations. Yeah, and just start gaming. That's it for me. That's it for Kreml. I wish you a great day and see you tomorrow, I guess.